Hey all, hello and welcome, Tony Bing here. For this beginner's guide video we will have a look at Captain Marvel. Now she really does have a whole lot of pretty awesome looking skills in her kit. She's got a very strong melee set of skills, and also she's got a ton of range builds that look great and are really quite powerful as well. So what we'll cover in this video anyway, we'll look at her primary attributes, offensive and defensive traits. We'll also check out her unique resource as well. On top of that, we'll look at a few of her costumes, have a quick look at her signature and ultimate, and then we'll finish up with two gameplay run-throughs, one showing off the melee skills and then the second one showing off the range skills. But for the first part of the video, let's look at the primary attributes, offensive and defensive traits, and also her resource. So we start off here by looking at the offensive trait, and that is Kree Toughness. Now with this you gain a 5% brutal strike chance, Darts type is Paragon, and you gain a bonus from the strength and energy attributes. Now due to how our resource works, I would actually recommend stacking the energy attribute if you do get the chance. For the defensive trait, this is called Energy Absorption, so with it she gains 1750 health. Darts type is Tough, giving you a multiplier to both defense and deflect. And also she has close quarters, which is the melee damage reduction there, so that's 8% you get for 3 seconds after using the melee power. For the resource we have Photonic Energy. Now with this, it regenerates at a rate of 10% per second, and that will continue to regenerate whilst you're in combat, and also it won't be paused if you actually use Photonic Energy. Now what you want to do with this is you want to stack as much as it as you possibly can without sacrificing other stats, because what that then allows you to do is start firing off your Photonic Energy spending attacks, and you can actually regenerate them hopefully as quickly as you can actually spend the resource, and that would open up a lot of build options on her. Now that we've actually looked at the core of Captain Marvel anyway, let's check out a few of her costumes. So we have just a few costumes to look at here because not many have had the visual update. The first one, which is a default, is the all new all different costume. And then we follow that up with a classic costume, and this is the one that I really know Captain Marvel for. I was about to say Miss Marvel there, you can see that in the comic there, and that's how I do know her. I'm having to stop myself from saying Miss Marvel every so often in this video. But with us having checked out some of her costumes, let's look at the signature and ultimate. For the signature we have a skill called Glimpse of Binary. Now this has got a large damage packet. On top of that, it acts as a steroid as well, and it allows you to actually absorb a huge 40% damage, and also boosts your base damage by 40% as well. Now on top of that, it also regenerates your Photonic Energy an extra 5% of max Photonic Energy per second, so that really allows you to fire off a lot of your skills while you're also buffed as well, so it's pretty great. Now what we'll look at next will be the ultimate skill. For the ultimate we have a skill called Second Sun. Now this is quite similar to the signature in that you've got a large energy damage packet on it. Now on top of that it's also a steroid, and this will regenerate your Photonic Energy at a rate of 40% per second, and also has 40% max health regen. Now if you pair this up with your signature, which I love to do, it means you've got the damage reduction, the health regen, the Photonic Energy regeneration, and also the damage boost as well. So if you pair the two of these together, she can really be an absolute beast and put out an absolute ton of damage, which is pretty awesome. Now that we've actually looked at the signature and ultimate anyway, what we'll do is we'll do some actual skill previews. So we'll start off by running through the Shocker Terminal, and we will look at her melee side of things. The first skill we look at then is Mighty Punch, which is your main melee attack. This is actually tagged as a basic, and as a result of that it will restore Photonic Energy as you use it. The next skill we have, and this ties in with a theme that Miss Marvel has, or Captain Marvel even, and it's all to do with her movement, and this is called Warbird Charge. So with this you'll fly forward and knock down the enemy, and through certain talents you can actually use that to restore the charges on your dash as well, so it can really help to keep her mobile. The next skill we look at, this is another movement one. This is Crash Down Strike. So with this you'll do your large energy damage packet. It looks pretty amazing as well, and you'll knock down the enemy, and it also has vulnerability as well, so it's a great skill there. The next one we look at is Infused Uppercut. So with this you'll do physical damage on the main hit, and then it leaves an energy damage pulsing away on the enemy. Now on top of this you gain a damage bonus to this skill based on your actual current photonic energy. So if you can fire this off when you've got 100%, you'll do a huge amount of damage. And on top of this as well, it will actually knock the enemy in the air, and it also regenerates 50% of your photonic energy. So it's a great skill, it does quite a lot there. The next skill we look at then is Roundhouse Kick. Now with this it's another one that actually gives you a damage bonus based on your maximum photonic energy. It will do physical damage in the main instance, but it also provides knockdown as well. Now the actual photonic energy cost of this skill is 50%, so you perhaps want to use this and then pair it up with the last skill we looked at, will then restore that 50% you've just lost. That can work quite well if you do that. Keep an eye out on her skills that actually interact in that way, and you can really get a lot more out of her. The final skill we'll look at here is Ground Shattering Smash, and this looks incredible. She jumps up, slams down, and does a big smash in the ground, as the skill would actually indicate. So you've got the large physical damage packet, and you also have another one where the damage bonus is based on 10% of your max photonic energy there. So it's a great skill, and it also has stun on it as well there. So we're looking at the stun, we get quite a few knockdowns in our kit, and you've got a lot of interaction with the photonic energy, so it really does make it quite interesting. There we go, Shocker's just a bit down there. There we go, a nice crash down to finish off there, so that was pretty great. So what we'll do, we've looked at the melee skills, let's now check out her range skills. So we start off here by looking at the main spender we're using, and that's actually Photonic Blast. Now with the tooltip it's saying that it costs 50 energy per actual blast of it. However, through talents you can get the resource cost down to 0 on it, which is great. Now one thing you can also do with it through talents I'll mention is you can turn it into a cooldown power, so it's just one hit but it'll do a lot more damage, so it's interesting you've got that there on it. The next skill we have, this can actually be used as a spender as well. It's Photonic Wave, so it's actually tagged as an area attack and it will stun the enemy. It won't do as much damage as Photonic Blast, but if you're wanting to maybe put other actual skills in a bar, you have got the option of using this as a spender. We then look at Radiant Cascade, which is a steroid move which in a way is similar to her signature and ultimate. You've got her pulsing with energy. While she does that, she'll do damage to enemies every time she pulses. On top of that, she'll regenerate 5% of her max photonic energy per burst, and she also gains damage resistance, a whopping 50%. So as mentioned earlier in the video, if you were to trigger Radiant Cascade, then the signature, then the ultimate, you'd be nigh on invincible and you'd be doing a huge amount of damage as well. So I would say try doing that, it's a whole lot of fun when you actually do. The next skill we look at, and one we used just a moment ago, is Stellar Flare. So with this you'll suck in a huge amount of energy and you actually pull on enemies at the same time and then you blast them out. Now on top of the actual damage and the vortex mechanic of it, it will restore 15% of your max photonic energy a second while you're actually channeling it. The next skill we look at, this is Intense Light. It's just really a standard ranged cooldown skill, so you can use this every 8 seconds and it fires out a big blast of intense energy. And then we have the final skill here, which is Photonic Devastation. So with this is your main trash cleaner really for the range side of things. You'll hold it down, you'll get the big beam coming out, and it actually gains a bonus from your attack speed as well, so this can be really good for clearing trash. But let's fire off all these range skills. You can see the Radiant Cascade there pulsing off on, putting the energy way back up as well as doing damage to Dr. Octopus at the same time. And there was Intense Light just there. Visually you can see the range side of things really does look pretty great. And there we go, that's them down. So that's the melee and range side of things. When you're actually playing it, I would recommend mix them up a bit and using a combination of both of them. But I hope this beginner's guide video was useful. Not too sure who I'm going to do next, so any suggestions leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you all again soon for another one of these videos.